Oh my goodness, folks. The Democrats have gone total desperation right now. They are totally desperate. They're out here begging. Take a look at this wacko press conference.
And it's an honor to stand with members of the Congressional Black Caucus, as well as former athletes committed to this cause in getting this egregious situation turned around. This is an unprecedented moment featuring an unprecedented attack on black political representation, and therefore it requires an unprecedented response.
That's right.
We are here standing in solidarity with the NAACP and its call for athletes to boycott institutions within the SEC that belong to states that have unleashed these Jim Crow-like racially oppressive tactics, which is unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American. And we believe that the silence of these institutions is complicity.
That's right.
And we will not stand for it.
Wow. All right. So just so folks understand what they're asking, now they're asking for young college athletes to forego any scholarships, any deals they have, contracts with southern states, and boycott it in order all over the Supreme Court decision to remove race from these congressional districts. You can't use race to draw your map, your district map, and because they don't have that, now they're asking the young folks, our young generation of people, to give up their scholarships and deals if they are in these southern states. I can believe it, but I can't believe the gall. Shelly, what are your thoughts here?
I don't know why you can't believe it, because this is just the next iteration of what they always do. That's number one. Very quickly, let me tell you something. The NAACP, I call it the National Association for Asinine Colored People. They want to ruin America, and they want to ruin children, young people who have scholarships. Why don't you go in there and fix the universities instead of asking them to boycott them? This is unimaginable, but it's not, only for some people, because if you think like the left, you will see there's nothing off limits, and no one is off limits.
Nicole, what are your thoughts? The gall, the actual gall they have. Are black folks falling for it, you think?
Of course not. And the athletes that they're actually going after can't even leave their schools without a significant penalty of their eligibility. The portal that they use for NCAA Division I athletes to transfer from school to school is closed until 2027. So any athlete that's at an SEC school or an ACC school that decides that they're going to listen to this, foolishness and walk away from the life-changing money that they can make from being able to play a sport they've likely played since they were a toddler, absolutely not going to happen. These young people, and it would be different if it was striking a blow against something, but all of this is so that Hakeem Jeffries and other Black Democrats can get a leg up in an election. Make it make sense. I'm giving up my future for this? No, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, this is how little they think of us. This is how little they think of us. I mean, the SEC football alone generates billions. So they want to target these SEC schools in Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. These are all these schools that they want. They're demanding black athletes, recruits, alumni, and fans with whole commitments, NIL money, ticket sales, donations, all of it. Okay. They want them to do that. All right. And these black athletes are 50 to 70% of the rosters in these key positions. Mm-hmm. All right. So boycotting it means killing the golden goose that pays NIL deals, these scholarships and dreams. I wish I thought my son would forego a scholarship. And as you both mentioned, that these boys, these not and girls too, work from since they could walk. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them have been working towards these scholarships.
Yeah.
I mean, and Shelly, this is what they choose to boycott. We have murder, we have theft, we have all kinds of things going on in our communities. This is what they choose to boycott.
Yeah, and then the part that I don't understand, why would they ask the students to forego their scholarships based on something that the states handle and the states manage as far as voting districts? Why would they ask students in college on scholarships, no less? Many of those students in the southern states, they're not all wealthy. They cannot self-afford, if you will, to pay their education. So they rely on these athletic scholarships that gives them educational opportunities and accessibility. So that doesn't even go together. You ask the students, how about asking the legislatures in those states to draw districts and to draw the lines not based on race? How about asking these people, these students, to wait a minute, if you give up your scholarship, hey, the NAACP, we will cover your tuition. Though you'll never hear that. You will never hear that.
Yeah,
No way.
Nicole. I mean, there and the Hakeem Jeffries and the NAACP are spinning this as if this is a sacrifice, like Black folks did during the civil rights and things. What are your thoughts on that?
So Black folks didn't go to SEC schools back during the civil rights. Listen, these schools aren't easy to get into. They are outrageously expensive. And the name of this program from the NAACP, the Congressional Black Caucus, and Hakeem Jeffries is called Out of Bounds. And they're absolutely right. They are all out of bounds. These children, these young people have dedicated their lives, their free time, sacrificed their bodies and family time just to be considered for an SEC school. So you're going to ask a D1 scholarship athlete to give up 2, maybe 3 years of eligibility, then go to a D2 or D3 school with no TV coverage, no NIL money? That makes no sense. Listen, if the Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries were serious about doing something about voting rights that they seem to think have been eroded, what they should do is actively go door knocking and talk to the constituents and say, listen, we've ignored you guys for a very long time. We've taken you for granted. We're sorry. This is what we're going to do to fix your communities. But he's not going to go because most of these communities probably catch a damn bullet. Somebody would probably rough them up on the corner. Nobody really is considering giving up their futures to submit Hakeem Jeffries' aspirations. Nobody's giving that up. And for them to even ask, what the people that are probably most prone to listening are going to be high schoolers. You're going to talk to my high school age son about changing the trajectory of his whole future for some voting rights acts that have not been eroded? Black people been voting all week.
Hell no.
You're crazy.
No.
Crazy as hell.
No.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh. This is so infuriating. No way. Zero. No way. And any parent and child that even entertains this nonsense is an idiot. Is an idiot. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it if you're willing to lay your son or daughter's career on the line, their education, all the years that they have been putting forward to this. And you're going to do this for these stupid people who don't care about you. They only care about staying in power, and they're willing to use every Black, brown, young, old face that they can. This is despicable. Despicable. I want to ask you, ladies, one last thing on this. What happened to Black excellence? What happened to? And this is clearly them. They don't showing they don't care, but also does it signal that they're very desperate, that they're in trouble? I'll ask you, Nicole, first. Does this signal trouble in the Democrat Party?
Listen, the gnashing of teeth and the tears that have been flowing since the ruling came down on Louisiana versus Calais, it has been remarkable. They already didn't have a platform. They already didn't have like a national leader. Now they don't have a voting base. So all of their plans have been thwarted. It is remarkable to me to not see them go back to the drawing board, because if we had to do an autopsy of where they are right now, since Kamala Harris lost the last presidential election, They have not learned one lesson from the shellacking she's taken. In fact, they've doubled down on dumb. This is some dumb stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. These college students at the SEC and the ACC have a lot of power. When they wanted the state flag changed, they boycotted games and that state flag was changed in a lickety split. But this is something different. This is not something tangible because these kids can vote. They're old enough to vote. No one's stopping them from voting. There's no poll tax. There's no, boogeyman jumping out going, ooga booga ooga, you can't vote. None of that is happening. So they don't even have a leg to stand on. This reeks of more than desperation. This is the last gasps of a party on the brink.
Wow. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this as far as what this is foretelling of the Democrat Party?
I think it could be a foretelling, but what it signals to me is that the NAACP itself, they are so defunct, symbolically, if you will, they are defunct. They don't have an agenda, a platform that will service the people that they claim that they are servicing. They don't. These young people, these are the same young people. Let's say this hypothetically, if they were to forego their scholarships, many of them, again, Black students, where would they end up? They're going to end up on the streets, in a grave, an early grave, doing all kinds of illegal activity, no jobs. And the same Hakeem Jeffries and the ilk like that will be next saying, oh, look what the white gap is, the education gap, the income gap. This is white supremacy. They're suppressing Black people. But you know what? Only thing that matters to them is fight the power. That's what they want, Black power. And it means absolutely nothing if these students cannot get a job, support their families, get an education. It means nothing to them. And Hakeem Jeffries and all these people, they will go on about their little lives, lollygagging and spewing lies and hate and still diminishing the Black community. This is bullshit.
Yep. And it's not Black power. It's sacrificing power is what it is, folks. It's sacrificing them at the altar of permanent victimhood. Okay. And we got to put a stop to this. We're calling it out for what it is. All right. It's political theater. Okay. And they don't give a damn, as you mentioned, about Black athletes. All right. They only care about keeping themselves in office. Please, as you come in, hit that like button, share this broadcast. We want to get this out to more and more people. Do not fall for it. All right. This is Poppin' Politics, folks. Remember to like, share, and subscribe as you come in. If you're tired of power-hungry, commie leftists like these people trying to strip us of our rights and tear apart our country, folks, you're in the right place because we are too. All right, ladies, let's set it off. So much to get to. We got super chats coming in. We appreciate each and every one. Who do we have here, Shelley?
All right, we have Kung Fu CJ coming in with his chopping. $2. Thank you for this, Kung Fu. Hello, Pat family. Let's get it, ladies. Always a faithful supporter. Thank you, Kung Fu. We have Shantia. Hi, Shantia. Hey, thank you for your $5. To ask a student athlete to give up a college scholarship is beyond pathetic. It is. It really is, Shantia. Thank you for that. Yeah, we have Dean. Thank you. Dion. I'm sorry. Hi, Dion. Thank you for your $2 super chat for stopping by. The NAACP who endorsed Abigail and trashed Winsome. Absolutely.
The very same folk.
Good point. And we have by you. Thank you for your $2 super chat and stopping by. Everybody, keep it coming. Laura, thank you so much for stopping by for your $5. Great job, ladies. Thank you for bringing this to light. Absolutely, everybody. And we also have by you again. Thank you for your $5. They better not try to pull up on the South. AOC, Hakeem, FAFO down here.
I know that's right by you, Belle. I know that's right.
Absolutely. And
hit that like, share, and subscribe, everybody out there. Don't forget, we have a very special show coming up for you, so stay tuned. We have one more super chat here. I think I can't see the name very well, but $8. Thank you for that. Thank you, ladies. We see you. We love you. Is that Mott or Matt?
It's not. What is it?
Not there yet.
Not there yet. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by.
All right. Yes, indeed. All right. And folks, guess what? We have new merch, and this one is beautiful. Nicole,
let me tell you. Drum roll, please. It is finally here. It is our A250 merchandise. This is the mug. It is big enough to fill up with enough caffeine to survive any liberal relative you may have. It is absolutely gorgeous. Not quite as nice as said t-shirt. Look at this t-shirt. Now, y'all know I don't do blue. You know I don't do blue, but they have one called Blue Heather that I actually am purchasing today. This is how nice this t-shirt is. Not black, not white, American. Don't let them divide us. This is our A250 t-shirt just in time for Father's Day, because dads matter, right? You get your dad a trucker hat, a mug, and a t-shirt. I think you're going to be the favorite. It's a great way to support us, and dad will love you even better.
Absolutely. Allie, I see you. You got your mugs coming. You got this A250 mug coming, and you have another one coming too. Already, it's on the way. I see you, Allie. Sorry it took so long, but you're already going to get an A250 mug also. So thank you guys. Thank you all so much for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. But folks, I love this mug. I love this shirt, and I like the message. It's not only talking about supporting the 250th anniversary of America, but the theme, which we have pushed on here from the very beginning, not white, not black, Americans. We all take part in the celebration of this great country. So folks, definitely get it right while it's hot, while we have them in store, and you can get in all different colors, like Nicole said. All Blue right, Heather. So let's move right along, folks. We gotta talk about this election yesterday. Wow. All right. We have Kentucky, I should say, has a new congressperson. Ed Gowrine. Is it Gowrine or Gowrain?
I think I've heard it both ways.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Ed Gowrine. Okay. Gowrine defeated Thomas Massie for the Republican nomination for Kentucky's 4th congressional district yesterday, delivering President Trump one of the biggest victories yet in his campaign to purge dissenters from the GOP. Folks, this was so shocking, particularly to believe it or not, the left was looking at this race. You check out CNN host. This CNN host, when the news broke that Massie lost, she is stuttering over his defeat. This is clip 8.
Breaking news, we have a projection to make in Kentucky. CNN can now project that Ed Gowrine will win the Republican primary against Thomas Massie for the 4th congressional district in Kentucky. And that is a seismic political decision made by voters in Kentucky tonight. Let's go straight to Jeff Zeleny. He's at Thomas Massie's headquarters. And Jeff, a very, very clear and strong defeat for Thomas Massie. I mean, what is happening there? This is being called, obviously, quite early.
Aaron, it certainly is. I mean, the polls have been closed less than 2 hours, and just a few moments ago, people began filling into the room. Now word has reached the supporters of Thomas Massie that he has fallen short to Ed Gowrine. Ed Gowrine is a farmer and a former Navy SEAL. He was a bit player in this race in many respects. President Trump made this a one-on-one contest between him and Congressman Thomas Massie, and the overwhelming amount of spending and money in this race was something that the likes of which no House primary has ever seen. So there's no question that Thomas Massie, who rose through the Tea Party era, starting back in 2014, found himself in a very different Republican Party, a very different president, and President Trump. And the
All right. Well, word is that President Trump, when this news hit, he basically said,
"The shit's chess, it ain't checkers."
There it is. That's what President Trump said. He said he gave the words of Dialon Dillon from Making the Band. You're on a rumble with me. You're on a rumble. Remember Making the Band? He did it, and I don't think any of us thought this saw this. I mean, we thought it may happen, but we were like, we thought Massie was going to pull it off.
Yeah, by just a little bit. Just a little bit, but we were talking about those May surprises and all the gossip that was dropping about him, 2 days, 3 days before the election, and it had a big effect. I mean, one of the memes that I thought, of course, I'm not from Kentucky, but one of the memes that I thought was really, really on point was it showed a picture of Thomas Massie maybe from 4 years ago, where he was the nerdy guy, the geeky guy, the super libertarian, but, you know, pretty much voted with the party, but, you know, he was the stickler guy. And then the picture from him a month ago where he's, you know, foregone the curly perm and got a nice haircut. He's wearing contact lenses and he's snuggled up with his new boo. And now he's, you know, Tucker Carlsoned up. And I was like, man, I mean, the visual was night and day. The visual was absolutely night and day. And I can't lie, it would have persuaded me to maybe take a second look at that vote for him too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that he was with the Tea Party.
Yeah. I don't think so either. But before we get into it, you know, so he gave a speech last night. He conceded. Take a look at this. Is part of what he said. This is clip 2.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrine in Tel Aviv. I did get the call through, though. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way.
All right. I think that was a little low, but he cracked a joke talking, saying that the Navy, kind of like insinuating that this Navy SEAL, Ed Galrine, is somehow a puppet of Israel. Your thoughts on this election, Shelley?
Look, I said, well, Monday, I said, you know what, this is all politics, number one. Number two, I thought it would be closer. Wasn't sure which way it was going to go, but I thought the margins would be much closer than they were. So I was kind of like, okay, if Galrine wins, I want him to be able to win the general election because we still have to get through that. So now I am a little more convinced that Kentucky will probably install Galrine for their next congressman of that district in November. Again, this is politics. That was kind of a low blow, I guess, from whatever his name is. He's gone, Massey. Yeah. Massey. Massey. But okay, politics is politics. You know what? The train keeps going.
Yeah, yes. I mean, a lot of people, when you talk to people, Kentuckians, you know, including CNN's what's his name? Our favorite, our guy, Scott Jennings, Nicole, right?
Jennings.
Yeah. They're saying that, Massey, he just went the way of, he really got into this TDS, Israel fixation, that we've seen, unfortunately, well, the TDS on the left, but this Israel fixation on the right. And he lost focus of Kentuckians. Is that the correct way to call people from Kentucky? Yeah. Yep. And so that's where people, kind of wanted off this train. What are your thoughts on what he said, Nicole? Some were saying it was anti-Semitic.
I wouldn't say it was, all the way there anti-Semitism, but I will say it was hateful and it was small and it was petty and it was all the things that we now know he is. Again, very different than the man that was elected from the Tea Party, who was principled and kind. I don't know what it was about that curly perm he used to have. He was a much nicer guy with the curly perm and the glasses and a little bit chubbier. His makeover, maybe we're underestimating him. Maybe he's tired of only making a few $100,000 a year, serving the people of Kentucky. Maybe he wants to go the route of Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Maybe he wants a seat somewhere on some talking head show where he can sit and spout his junk and, bash the party a la Michael Steele. Maybe that's what he's looking for, to class up his bank account instead of working for the people. Either way, it was a low blow and it was not gentlemanly, but we've recently come to expect that from him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talk about the money. I mean, again, he was throwing out these accusations of, people being bought and paid for by Israel and things like AIPAC. He's made a lot of, comments about that. Let's talk about the money on his side. Okay. He got some really questionable, large donations from pro-Palestine camps. Sam Hussein Marak, the Marak family, I should say, donated, each maxed out at $7,000 to his campaign. The total from that family network was between 35 to 55,000. Reported to Massey. Okay, all this is on Open Society. Also, Joe Kiani, Iranian-born billionaire, funneled money to Massey. I mean, they wrote personal checks, maxed out again at the $2,800 to Massey's campaign, made multiple entries in donations, and the list goes on. The Kiani family hosted $100,000 fundraiser for Massey last year. All right. And again, the family trust poured over $100,000 into pro-Massey super PACs. Now, folks, who are these people? These are the same donors that donated to people like the Squad. All right. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Roy Khanna, who is really, friendly with Massey. I mean, the list goes. Talarico got huge donations from these people. So again, it's sort of weird to see that these pro-Palestinian radical leftists are donating in large amounts to Massey. So I don't know. I was not rooting for him. I was rooting for the Trump pick, honestly. And we'll see how this plays out. I do hope that Galrine wins the full general election, and it goes off without a hitch. We got some super chatters here. Who do we have, Shelly?
All right, we have Bayou Bell. Thank you for your $2. The MAGA train still rolling. Woohoo! Okay, thank you for that. Josh, hi Josh. Thank you for your $20. I'm all for independent thought, but you gotta be there when the president needs you. US. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Liberty Girl, hi. Thank you for being with us for 7 months. Massey takes Muslim money. Thank you for that. All right. Anyone else coming up, producers? All right. We have Bayou Bell again. Thank you for your $2. Cassidy out. My vote mattered. Massey out. Go. I think that's the French version. The go.
All right. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you for thank you for your supers.
Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much. As you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support, folks. As you know, we don't have any sponsors. We're not running, sponsors. We're not being paid by AIPAC or Qatar. Really, okay? You guys keep us online. Each amount, your super chats go a long way in helping us produce this conservative content. So if you're right there with us, if you're tired of the left, if you're tired of socialism, if you're tired of this communism that we're seeing, amplified in our country, hit that like button and your super chats will keep us online. All right. So moving right along, folks, we are going to fast forward a little bit tonight. We got sort of some sad news. So we want to take a moment to honor a giant, folks, a giant in the conservative movement. All right. We are talking about conservative activist, author, and truth teller, Bob Woodson. He passed away today. He spent decades fighting for faith, family, personal responsibility, and the forgotten communities American elites have abandoned. He didn't just talk about solutions, he lived them, building real change from the ground up. His voice, his wisdom, and courage will be deeply, deeply missed. But guess what? His legacy will continue on. It continues with us, with you all, and with the multitude of conservatives that are, determined to, talk about the founding of this great country, the goodness that we have in this country, families, faith, economic freedom, and so on and so forth. So that was him there with President Trump, and that was him right there. Robert Woodson Sr. Says the Woodson Center mourns the passing of founder and president Robert L. Woodson. All right. So tonight we are going to bring up one by one some of our favorites who have been on this show multiple times, but who have championed Bob Woodson, who worked right alongside him and championed the ideals and things that he pushed We're going to bring some up. Before we do, just want to get you ladies response to this. I'll start off with you, Nicole. What did you think when you heard this, and what impact did he have on you and all that you do in the conservative movement?
It took my breath away. We have lost some very larger than life figures in the Black conservative movement, the conservative movement in general. And it seems to me that for us, time stands still. And we watch them growing older, getting wiser, building greater legacies. And we think we're going to live forever because he's going to live forever. These are men who spread their wings and dropped their knowledge on a bunch of young conservative people and gave us the opportunity to make crazy decisions and fail a little bit, but never took their eyes off of us, never took that protective wing off of us. Bob Woodson, Mr. Woodson, and the Woodson Center, all about building family, the family structure. Families build great neighborhoods make strong communities make a strong nation. And he would hammer that over and over and over again, that family was everything, not only to Black people, but to Americans in general. His message was so much bigger than just Black America. So we're all going to mourn him. Appropriately so. He had a beautiful life, a beautiful, wonderful, long life, and he touched so many hearts, and there are going to be so many memorials to him, well deserved. But his legacy is going to be this crop of Republicans and conservatives that are coming up that understand that the key to a lot of America's problems happen at the kitchen table with the family sitting around it.
Yeah. Shelley, what are your thoughts? The impact that he's had on America and on you?
Yeah, Mr. Woodson, Mr. Bob, again, a great man. What can we say? What can I say more except I would just say thank you. Thank you for his courage, his service, his passion, commitment to truth, to honor, to dignity, particularly for Black people. He helped equip us, if you will, and be in the fight. If you want to send some donations, you want to support an organization, this is the counter to the NAACP in the lights. Mr. Woodson himself, with his organization, he was just fearless, and he had grace, he had wisdom, and he had class, and he wanted to share the truth. He was not afraid of the slavery narratives, if you will. He talked about the civil rights. He was a civil rights activist. He's been described as, but he gave truth. He gave us context. He gave us history that we would never have known. Okay. Yeah. To be able to take it to the public square, not just as conservatives, but as Black conservatives, and to stand proudly and boldly and firmly in that, in our faith, in our freedom, and in the future of our country. Mr. Woodson, I'm going to personally miss you. Thank you for so much you have done for us, for our country, and just thank you for being here and being used, if you will, to fulfill out your calling.
Yeah. For me, he represented a generation that spoke to Black America about dignity, faith, responsibility, and hope. That's what I remember. When back in the day when we used to talk about civil rights and things, we didn't always talk about the victimhood and the oppression and things. He reminded us of our historical triumphs, overcoming impossible odds through family, perseverance, entrepreneurship, and God. That was number one. And again, instead of what we see now, this constant framing of Black folks as permanent victims, he was the total opposite. And folks, at a time when so many activists and politicians profit, as we were talking about at the beginning of the show, from outrage and division and oppression, he challenged us to rise higher. That's what I love, and reclaim the values that carried us through these past generations. All right. And as soon as I saw when this news came out today that he had passed, the first person I thought about was Delano Squires, because you think about who's going to carry the mantle of when these people, these giants, pass on. And he was the first person I thought about. Take a look at this clip. This is clip 10 of Bob Woodson and Delano Squires at a heritage function.
$22 trillion on programs of aid to poor. 70% of every dollar went not to the poor, but those who served the poor. Jesse Jackson and all of those others benefited from that. Right here in Washington, D.C., 19 members of Marion Barry's administration went to jail for stealing money going to the poor, but yet he was still lionized. Mm-hmm. So we could, I think it was at the time, the Black Enterprise magazine did a survey of income differences among the Black community. Those with $150,000 income went up 30% during a 20-year period, while those with $20,000 expanded too. So you have coexisting in that the largest income gap in America is not between whites and blacks, it's low-income blacks and upper-income blacks. If racism were the sole culprit, why are not all blacks suffering equally? And it's always been a class dynamic, that low-income blacks on choice and education. They are supportive of choice, yes, leadership or not. Yes. And you can go right down the line. There's a huge bifurcation in the Black community where they use the conditions of poor blacks as the bait, and the switch occurs when the money arrives.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we have Delano Squires. How are you tonight, Delano?
Hi, Delano.
I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
Hey, Delano.
Doing good. We're doing good. Please, before we get started, please shout out who you are, how people can find you, and what you have going on, any way we can support you.
Sure. So my name is Delano Squires. I'm the director of the Richard and Helen DeVos Center for Human Flourishing at the Heritage Foundation, where we cover issues around marriage, family structure, life, gender ideology. Also author of the forthcoming book, The Vanishing Black Family. How welfare, yes, June 16th, how welfare and feminism made marriage optional and children vulnerable. So,
and yes, we already have you booked.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yes.
But yeah, people can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Delano Squires, or on Instagram, but mostly on X, where I post, things, my ideas, thoughts, and new articles, columns, research that I've have recently published. So
excellent. So we got to ask you, what are your thoughts on his passing, and then also the impact that he's had, Dr. Woodson, on you and on the conservative movement?
Yeah, I saw the email today. I saw it maybe 5 minutes after it went out, and was shocked. But I knew, Bob was getting older. Still working, still up until yesterday, tweeting about radical grace. This month, posting videos about the need to return to some of those core values: love of God, love of country, love of neighbor. So when people like Bob, people who've lived a long life, people who've lived a fulfilled life, people who know the Lord, when they pass on to glory, yes, there's a deep sadness that's there, but then there's also an appreciation and joy, and to say, you know what, they have ended this part of the journey, and then they begin the other part on the other side of eternity. And as I said, he went out like a warrior on his sword. He wasn't curled up in a vegetative state for the last 6 years. He was still doing the things that he loved, and still using his God-given abilities on behalf of other people, on behalf of the least, the last, and the lost, as some people would say. So, yeah, I appreciated him, his influence on me. He was a mentor to me, and just I learned a lot from just watching him operate. And that clip you showed was last year, September, when I did an event at Heritage on the 60th anniversary of the Moynihan Report. Yeah, he said, "Look, I'm only doing this for you." And I said, "I know, Bob, and I appreciate that." So he is a titan when it comes to American conservatism, and to me, someone whose name should be known and celebrated far more than it is. Agreed. And far further than just conservative circles. But no, Bob, I never got the sense that he was in it for the fame or the recognition. He was in it really for the people.
Yeah. Delano, can I say something real quick about that clip?
Sure.
I like that clip or that segment when you did that with Bob, Mr. Woodson. It reminded me of an older man teaching a younger man, and you were just sitting there, so honoring him, just listening to him, like you were just kind of sitting at his knee, taking in the story, so to speak. That's the kind of feel it gave. So
yeah. I mean, I'm of a particular generation that had a lot of respect for elders. That was one of the things that was just baked into it, just baked into life. We respected our elders. So when I'm around people who've lived longer than I have, who have more wisdom than I have, I'm in a posture of learning and soaking all of that up so I can incorporate it. That doesn't mean we always agree. Doesn't mean we always see the world the same, but it means that you have lived long enough and done enough where you have the right to express yourself however you see fit. And other people, younger people particularly, if they have wisdom, will sit back and listen and learn. So yes, I just let him rip, during that fireside chat. And it was important to me because Bob was 28 years old when the Moynihan Report came out. Right. So it wasn't just he was alive, he was moving in civil rights circles, so he could actually give some perspective I obviously don't have because I was born in the 1980s. So you're right, Shirley. You caught that. I was just listening and enjoying the experience, knowing that the time that we hit, well, tomorrow is not promised to anybody. But when you reach a certain age, I know that the time is short. So that's why you got to get serious about the work.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can't wait to have you on when you come on to talk about your book. And so we are all excited for that. And so we're looking forward. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right.
Okay.
All
take
right,
care.
folks. Yes, you too. All right. We are going to continue to bring on different people to just talk about the impact that Bob Woodson had on their lives. Next up is Terrace Todd, Director of Coalitions and Outreach for Project 21. All right, Terrace, do we have Terrace here? How are you tonight, Terrace?
There he is. Hey, Terrace.
Hey there. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Terrace.
I'm doing well. Good to see you all.
All right, good to see you too. Want to ask you the same thing. If we're going through the passing of Bob Woodson, want to get your comments on it and how has he impacted you and in America?
Well, Major Titan, like Delano was saying, he's a true icon, and I agree 100%. Bob Woodson's legacy will last for generations. He had such an impact on me. He also gave me manhood, true manhood, and where you just stand flat-footed, 10 toes down. His type of conservatism aligns up with mine. He stuck to the facts. He had the battle wounds and the street cred to prove his credibility. And he didn't mince his words for anybody. He could go into the corporate suite. He could also go in the hood and relate to anybody. And that's just the type of person that he is. And that is the type of person I am as well. When you genuinely love and care about people, you could care less where they are or what their background and that kind of thing is. I saw a clip of him one time and he had mentioned, and this is what I loved about, many things that I love about him, but I remember Mr. Woodson had talked about how when Blacks or when our ancestors were denied, hotel rooms, they built their own. But today you see a generation on the earth today that's still trying to drag us backwards into some foolishness and trying to say, well, we need to boycott or whatever. Well, the greatest boycott is ownership. You're still you're trying to boycott stuff. In other words, it's almost like taking old wine and trying to put it in new wineskin, as the Bible talks about. And so that absolutely is asinine to me. How is it that boycotting a store that you're going to end up in anyway, when the boycott is over with, makes sense? No, the best thing that we could do is own our own stuff. If it's really about Black representation, if it's really about true boycott, kind of like the stuff that's going on now with NAACP and all these other people talking about boycotting schools. I mean, that's absolute craziness, but anyway, Bob Woodson, or Mr. Woodson, should I say, again, those are the things that he would challenge, and those are the things that I would like, that I love to talk about as well, and really call people to the carpet on, because it's absolute foolishness, and what they're trying to do is take our current generation and the generations coming behind us backwards, just so that way they can remain relevant.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Terrace, please tell people where they can find you, how they can support you in any events that you have coming up from Project.
Yep. I'm on X as well, formerly known as Twitter, as they say, but it's Terrace Todd 62 or at Terrace Todd 62. I'm also on, Instagram as well as Facebook, as those of you who know. But also, I'm the director of Project 21 Black Leadership Network at the National Center. They can go on nationalcenter.org or go to project21.org and find me there as well. Shoot me an email. I'll get it, and I'll go from there.
All right. It was wonderful having you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks.
We'll have you back, of course.
I appreciate it. Check your emails. We'll be sending out messages in the morning as well. So I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Terrace.
All right. Take care.
Terrace. See ya.
Yes, indeed. Well, and Terrace brought up a very good point, how he talked about how Bob Woodson would explain how we come from such a wonderful lineage, and we in entrepreneurship, ownership is important, to everyone, honestly. Take a look at this next clip. This is clip 11 of how he explains how Democrats avoid accountability and they use us. Take a look. This is clip 11.
Profiting off of the misery of their own people, but they use race as a shield and a sword against any accountability of why those conditions to deteriorate, and a sword against anyone who attacked. They were talking about the attacks on you. They attacked me too. But let me just tell you some advice. I learned a long time ago, if someone is attacking you, like someone, Ben Chavis, one time I was on a panel, he said, "You are an intellectual prostitute." When I get attacked, I smile. I said, I learned that if someone's sniffing at your butt, it means you're running in front of them. That's how you need. So you need to be proud of the fact and take ownership for whatever they call you, because it means you're getting the traitors to our people. To me, a traitor is worse than a bigot. Give me an old-fashioned white bigot to a black betrayer, someone who takes responsibility for operating an organization or a system that was intended to help their people, and it's poisoning the people with the helping hand.
Absolutely. And this rings true for conservatives who particularly who run for office in Democratic areas like Maryland, but who continue to stay in the fight. And one of the people that I come to front of the mind when I saw this clip was Dr. Brenda Cham, folks. She is here in Maryland running for lieutenant governor against, Wes Moore. And she has been doing this for a long, she was in the House of Delegates before, and she's going back. This time she's running as lieutenant governor, and she knows about how these Democrats try to stick it to conservatives. We have her here with us tonight to talk about Dr. Woodson. How are you tonight, Dr. Brenda?
Oh, you ladies. Gosh, first, you're gorgeous. First of all,
thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
We love you, Brenda, always.
I love you guys
Absolutely.
More. You're my sisters in Christ. Thank you so much. Though it's a somber occasion, learning of Mr. Woodson's passing, it's still a moment of celebratory, celebrating a life of a pioneer, of a man who has paved the way for conservatives to stand up a little bit taller, hold your chin up, stand straight, stand tall, don't back down. When I met Mr. Woodson many years ago, as I was getting more comfortable in considering running for office, maybe through Black Conservative Federation, I met him at a few events. And every time I was around him, and I came to know, this is the guy here you want to get to know, Mr. Woodson. And every time I'd see him, I'd always go over and acknowledge his presence, say hello, and each time he'd remember my face when he'd see me. And I feel like every time I left his presence, I left a little bit smarter, a little more intelligent, a little more conservative. When we get around each other, you guys know we're an anomaly.
Right.
Black women as Republican, we are an anomaly. But I think more and more we are coming out of the shadows and just being proud of who we are, being proud of what we stand for, not backing down from that. And I think a lot of it has to do with Mr. Woodson allowing us to move in that space and move in that space with confidence. So God rest his soul. I know his living is not in vain. I think KJ, I saw a post, I think maybe in text, where you said the epitome of let the work I've done speak for me, because he has done some great work. God bless him and his family.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yes.
you,
Wonderful,
Dr. Brenda.
Yes, indeed. And please, Dr. Brenda, tell people where they can find you, any events you have coming up, and how they can support you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this platform. Just for a minute or two. Yes, I am running for Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, and it's hard work. You best believe it's hard work, but anything worth having, you've got to work to get it. It's not going to come on a silver platter. So you've got to put in the boot work, put the boots on the ground, work for those things that are passionate to you and your family, your community. So John Myrick, who is my running mate, running as governor, he and I are putting in the legwork all across the state of Maryland, and we're doing it with integrity and tired but energized at the same time. If those two things can be together, I don't even know if that's possible, to be fatigued but excited at the same time.
That's right. Hey, Brenda, as my grandmother would say, I ain't tired, I'm tired.
Yeah, with two H's, right?
Absolutely. But certainly you can find me on all social media platforms. Brenda J. Moore, not related to our current Governor Moore, though that is my maiden name. Of course, Brenda J. Moore Cham. My last name is spelled Thiam, but pronounced Cham. So you can find me on social media, as well as John Myrick, our website, to learn all about our platform, what we stand for, what we want to do for Maryland, to bring us out of this gutter that this current governor has us in. So thank you again for the opportunity. And again, God bless the Woodson family and friends, and just continue to comfort them during this difficult time.
Absolutely. And folks, I like I shared on the thread we had, all of us have spent Juneteenth together. I believe all of us have been. And this Juneteenth is going to be a jubilee.
Yes,
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, wow, this Juneteenth really is going to mean something. And like everyone does, everyone, but we really going to really have
this year.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. God bless you. Have a good night.
God bless you too. All right. Yes, indeed, folks. Again, if you're just coming in, we are talking about the passing of, as everyone has called, a titan in American history, Bob Woodson. He has passed on today. He has gone on to glory. But as I mentioned earlier, if you had an example of when God said, so long, my good and was it well servant?
Well done, my good
well
and faithful.
Well done. Yes, well done, my
servant.
Good and faithful servant. His picture would be there because he certainly lived a life of work, of dedication and faith. So we're talking about him tonight. Take a look at this next clip. This is clip 9.
Of those who triumphed in the face of slavery. When I talk to young blacks and I tell them of stories of people who were born slaves who died millionaires, some of them went back and purchased a plantation on which they were slaves and took in the destitute family of the slave master.
What a story.
Robert Smalls. He was born in Sumter, South Carolina, and he was on a slave, on a warship. and he and 6 members of his crew, when the captain went off for dinner, stole the ship and put on the master's cap and came through the various. I'm sorry.
As I said, former slave brought his master's house and
Yes.
served as a collector of the customs.
Yes.
Robert Smalls.
Right.
Wow, what a story.
But not only that, he became wealthy, and because of his heroism, turning the ship over. Smalls was celebrated by Lincoln, and as a consequence, he permitted blacks to fight in the Civil War. But after slavery, Robert Smalls was given a commission. He also became a wealthy businessman, went back and purchased a plantation on which he was a slave. And his wife, the slave owner's wife and children were destitute. He took them in and allowed her to sleep in her same bedroom because she didn't realize slavery was over.
Wow.
Wow.
To me, this is an act of radical grace. And there are other stories of Biddy Mason, a woman who was born in 1818 and walked 1,000 miles behind a wagon with 3 children, one by the slave master. And then she later went to walk behind a wagon to California, where she was freed by the courts. And she was a midwife and saved money to buy property. And she died one of the wealthiest women in Los Angeles. She's a founder of the AME church out there.
Wow.
Illiterate, 3 children, and became a wealthy philanthropist.
Unbelievable.
And Elijah McCoy, you don't know that story. Born of fugitive slave parents, was trained in Canada and came back to become, is an engineer, an inventor.
So, I mean, folks, we encourage you to check out that interview. That was Bob Woodson being interviewed by the PBD podcast.
Yes.
I mean, the man is a wealth of knowledge. But when I saw this clip originally, it instantly made me think of Logic from Just the Guys. And folks, he is also co-founder here of Metro Conservative Media. He talks about the history, the storied history of what all that we've done. You know, the South is not just about slavery. So many people, entrepreneurs, the family was thriving. So much was going on, and it's not talked about enough. Here we have him tonight with us, joining us. How are you tonight, Logic?
What up? What up?
All right, we got to get you to talk about, this. You have, spent countless time. I believe Bob Woodson was a mentor of yours, along with Dean Nelson, who had also passed. What are your thoughts on this passing and his impact?
I wish we would see the same amount of fanfare as we do for like Jesse Jackson. But these guys don't get that same recognition, oftentimes because they got common sense, right? Bob Woodson was a man of common sense, and he was actually, fun fact, he was actually one of our first clients.
Yep. Yes, he was.
So Bob Woodson, the Woodson Center, was one of our first Metro Conservative Media's first clients, which is pretty cool. So I got to hang out, with him in that capacity. But he was just one of those guys that just represented just down to earth. You could talk to him. You could, and he had a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. I was closer to Dean, more so than Bob, but Bob and Dean were like this.
Peas in the pod, yeah.
And also, I did communicate with Mrs. Nelson earlier today, and just sharing, hey man, this was a great man, and because I know how close she was to is to Bob Woodson, because she worked in the organization and was like, just right there handling everything. But his impact, I mean, you talk about what he did in DC, and he single-handedly turned over, it changed the crime outlook in a neighborhood in Southeast DC, I think it was. but it was from talking to people. It was actually being out there. A lot of times nowadays, you see conservatives be so stuck up and stuffy and everything. But Bob Woodson was never like that. He was one of those people that were down to earth. You could joke with him. You could, communicate. Like, he wasn't like one of these stuffy conservatives. He was just a truth teller, right? And I think that was the biggest part that made him relatable. And just his awareness of the issues, and just playing that clip. I think about someone I always talk about, John Morant, who was born in New York and then moved to the South during slavery, and it was at a young age, was playing, as a musician, playing in all kinds of events as a really skilled musician, getting paid as a Black boy in the South where slavery still existed. He got his education in the South. His mom had to pay for him to go to school in the South. And you see this man as become an evangelist to help spread, the American ideal and spread Christianity to Indians. He was the first one to minister to Indians, a young Black boy named John Morant. But you hear these stories. What was his name? I can't think of his name, but if you go to Library of Congress, there's all these stories of slaves talking about their experience in slavery and how they wanted their freedom, and they got their freedom, and they became successful, and they did all these other things. But you don't hear those stories. But I leave it at this. I do wish he would receive the fanfare of the people like Jesse Jackson. But he was a truth teller. He said you can pick it up, you can do it on your own. There's nothing out here stopping you. And yeah, he was a big impact on me, and I'll be binge watching his stuff from here on out now too.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Folks, you can catch more of Logic every Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. with Just the Guys podcast. Logic, please shout out the podcast and what you have coming up. Well,
yeah. So tomorrow's my birthday, so shout out. Yeah. And this weekend we are having an event, so we won't be live this weekend. But we are going through just in the spirit of one of the things Bob Woodson talks about is just entrepreneurship and ownership. We're kind of going through some of that with just going through in real time the law of success, and so we can see in real time entrepreneurship, ownership, all those things take place. But Bob Woodson was a big advocate for things like that: entrepreneurship, ownership, family, independence. A big one is choice. So and that's those are the ideas that we're exploring on Just the Guys podcast. So tune in and come on the journey with us.
All right, absolutely, folks. All right, thanks again, Logic. Thank you. Okay, say your real name. All right, folks. We had to do this. We had to give this tribute. It's not done enough, as Logic mentioned. We don't hear about these titans enough because they're conservative. And we wanted to shout him out and give him a proper send off. All right. So I see you guys have been doing super chats. Shelly, what do you have here?
Yes. We do have a few supers. While the supers are coming up, I do want to remind you that we have people on here tonight. If you want to support these programs, these institutions, the Bob Woodson Center, of course, the Heritage Foundation. Yes, and Project 21 of the Black Leadership Network. Please, these are all important institutions for the conservative movement, certainly for Black conservatives. Again, I say to Mr. Woodson, you have earned your reward, the greatest reward you can ever have. Thank you so much for being here with us. Let's see who we have on the super chat. We have Laura. Thank you, Laura, for your $2 super chat. I am tired of all this. I think she's talking about an earlier segment, not this one. Okay. Also, Laura, thank you again for your $2 super chat. A great man, Mr. Woodson. He certainly was.
Yes.
We have Mr. I'm sorry, what did I say? Melanie. Thank you, Melanie, for your $20 super chat. Thank you for delivering the news and always making us feel like we are in the room with you, lovely ladies. Well, you are. Thank you, Melanie. You are right here. Kung Fu CJ, thank you for your $5. She looks familiar also. I feel like I am in Maryland again. Oh, you're talking about Dr. Brenda.
Dr. Brenda, yeah.
Well, she's down where you used to be, Kung Fu CJ. Sort of like she's out of Hagerstown.
Yeah.
Right. I think he used to live down in that end. of
Oh,
marriage.
okay. So
Mhm.
thank you, Laura, again for being a member with us for 14 months. Thank you, ladies, for bringing us these folks. Thank you. We have Kung Fu CJ again for your $2. It was the neighborhood I grew up in Southeast, talking about what Logic was just saying about where Bob Woodson kind of helped to reinvent that area, or reinvigorate that area, I should say. Kung Fu CJ again, thank you for your $2. My birthday is 5/31. I just want to be on the show. Well, happy birthday, early
Happy
birthday.
birthday early.
We gotta have you on. What's that day of the week? 5/31. What's that?
It's like a week and a half. We'll figure it out. But
All right, yeah, we gotta have you on, Kung Fu CJ, for your birthday.
Thank you all for your super chats. Thank you. We hope you enjoyed that segment honoring Dr. Woods, or Mr. Bob Woodson, I should say. And we thank you all so much for your super chats. Keep the chats coming. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Oh, we forgot to mention our website. We have metroconservativemedia.com. Nicole talked about the new merchandise. Go to metroconservativemedia.com and you should be able to shop all the platforms, Just the Guys, Poppin' Politics, as well as Christian Conservative. One-stop shopping and one stop for all the information you'll need. Go ahead and go right there. Go and get it.
And if you're just coming in, we've got new merch. Right, Nicole?
We do. It's here. It's here. Finally. Our A250 mug and t-shirt. And I think there's a sleeveless shirt as well. So much merch. This A250 shirt is amazing. Just in time for Father's Day. Not black, not white, American. Don't let them divide us. You can buy this for any kind of dad, liberal dad, independent dad, but let's hope your dad is conservative. A conservative dad, get him a hat, a mug to carry around his rhino tears, the people that just got ousted from Congress. So many reasons why to go ahead and get your A250 stuff. All the events are already jumping off. So this is the moment. Get your merch now. It's a great way to support us and you'll look good doing it.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we are not done yet. We got a couple more stories to bring you guys. This one, I am still confused on this one. And maybe you guys can explain this to me. We are talking about this viral video of a Texas attorney named Michael Phillips being confronted after allegedly saying a racial slur in a custody trial. So the clip we're about to show you is what happened afterwards, after the alleged racial slur that was made. And this is crazy. Take a look. This is clip 4.
Here we go. So, Mr. Nigga right here. Yeah, that's your ass.
So you the one
I
like
want
saying
you
the
the one like call people niggas and shit.
You gonna
call
me
a nigga. Call me one.
I bet you won't call in front of a black man like that.
I bet you won't call
in
me
fact,
no nigga.
Let me help you. You call a black woman in the word, call me that.
No, call me that.
I dare you to do it, and I swear for God, I'll make you taste the ancestors.
Me too.
You a coward. Call that black woman the N-word. You a real coward,
Why
man.
would
We'll
you
catch
do
you
that?
inside.
Now go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
I guarantee you wouldn't do it in front of me.
Come on.
I know. In fact, I know you won't. Say the N-word in front of me.
Come on. Go on in now.
And I'll give you a taste everything for the ancestors.
Go on in
Say it. Say it in front of me. I dare you to say it.
What is your name?
It's Quanell X, but you'll learn it real well today.
Yeah.
Say it. I bet you won't say N-word in my face. See, you talk to black women like that by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You intimidate black women by themselves. But a black man, you won't open your goddamn mouth. I dare you to say it.
With that hearing aid.
I dare you to say it.
With that hearing aid in your ear and shit. Get your old ass in there. Run around here with your bald head ass, you old spotted liver face looking bitch. But I ain't playing with you.
Sir, would you like to make a comment about what you said or about what happened?
I'm not allowed to make a comment at the present.
So, was you ready to make a statement online or anything like that?
Who are you?
All right. I am so confused, and I researched this story. Okay, Shelly, I see you biting at the bit. What happened? Did he really call somebody the N-word? What's going on?
So let me say the actual transcript is not available yet from the court. However, from what I've understand, he's a lawyer for I think for the victim side. I can't remember which. Nevertheless, it appears
it was
that
a custody trial, right?
The custody trial, but they were having an evidentiary hearing, okay? And apparently He was reading what was actually said by whatever witness he's, whatever side he's representing. So it was a literal quote, from what I understand. Again, we don't have the formal transcript from the court, but he was reading a quote. So in court, when you are in court and when you are presenting evidence, you have to quote what was said by the parties that are at the table, that the parties that are protesting or whatever the case may be. So if you were on trial, KJ, and I'm your attorney, and the court said to read what you said, maybe the police took a report from you, and I have to read what you said verbatim, even though I may not like the words, I may not curse or whatever the case may be, but if KJ said XYZ, then I have to say, this is what KJ said, XYZ, whatever XYZ was. Apparently that's what he was doing in what he was reading. Apparently the word nigga must have been used. Okay. So he was quoting that person. This was totally off the rails. Those two nigger culture people there, okay, they took advantage of this. This was an effort for them to get back at the man. They couldn't wait. They had been waiting years to do this. I'm surprised the court police were not in that hallway to stop that. Not only were they just ignorant, they were bullies. This man, I don't know how old he was, but he was an older man. He probably was afraid, but those two imbeciles, jackasses, nigger culture niggas that were there, they have been salivating to do this to a white person.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, so is that what you researched that occurred?
So what I found out from the research, Shelley's right. They haven't released the transcripts. This is a custody trial.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the beginning parts of the custody trial, the Black woman, who's one of the other attorneys, opposing attorneys, had used the word nigga over and over again. Now, whether she was reading it, reciting it, really, not of consequence. Now, the Republican who is the judge in this case, his name is Chad. Chad listened to the testimony, mostly because it wasn't her words. She was, like Shelley was saying, reading stuff into the record. Well, the gentleman, and I'm using that word lightly, the man that you just showed in the video says, you know what? I'm sick of her saying this. She's taking advantage of everybody in the jury's emotions. She's taking advantage of everybody's emotions. She's inflaming people by saying nigga, 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 right? So she immediately took offense, going, you can't say that. You can't use that word. So the jury was not in the room when all of this happened. The judge told him, this is not the right venue for this. So he was sanctioned, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. And it wasn't because he was repeating what was going into the record. It's because he was complaining about her saying it. And he said it in a way that sounded like somebody who was exasperated. And the judge didn't appreciate it. He said, you didn't have to say it. You didn't have to say the word at all. He said, well, she keeps saying nigga, nigga, nigga. So why can't I say nigga? And he's got a valid point. He's got a valid point.
He wasn't saying it to mock her. He was just, like you said, he was reading or whatever was being read into the record. He was responding to her.
Exactly. So this is not him turning around to a Black woman attorney and calling her a nigger.
Right.
And then he tells the judge, well, here's the problem. She's going to use this media spin to impact this case, impact my career, and demean this court. And the judge says, you need to write a letter of an apology, and that way you don't have to do three days in jail and pay me $500, because that was the sanctions for contempt of court. So he wrote the letter of apology, not because he repeated what she said, but because she was saying that little old man, that little tiny old man with 2 hearing aids, barely can walk, intimidated her, used intimidating language. So does that mean if she says white, white, white over and over again, and he says white, then suddenly somebody else is going to be in contempt of court? Language has been given too much power for this type of foolishness to happen in a court of law. I don't need delicate judges. We certainly don't need delicate attorneys, but I think he's right. She played that court and she played him to get the upper hand in this situation. And it is absolutely disgusting. Now, those 2 weirdos that was in the hallway, both of them grifters, both of them.
Yeah.
Both
I know
of
the
them.
guy is.
And she's an
I
attorney.
remember seeing him. He's been in every, racially charged
He
case.
was at
He's
the
the
Carmelo
attorney.
Anthony thing. You remember that?
Yeah.
So anywhere there's money and controversy, he's there. But I'm going to say
the woman is
this.
an attorney too, right?
I have no idea who she is. And if she is an attorney, she's in a lot of trouble because, her language is not, bar ethics approved either. But with all of that said, neither one of them are representative of Black America in any way, shape, or form. I don't know, I know a lot of Black men. I do. I know a ton of Black women. I absolutely do. And I can tell you what we don't do is stand in the hallway and accost senior citizens. That's not how we do it. That is not how we do it.
This was all planned. This was all planned, in my opinion. This was.
I agree. It was the show. It was for the show. And I guarantee you, when that Carmelo Anthony trial starts in June 1st, both of they grifting asses are going to be sitting there somewhere, hands in pocket, waiting for something to pounce on. These are the type of people that we could absolutely do without. They demean everything about our culture.
Yeah, that was, and it's stupid. I cannot believe grown adults are bullying an old man over the word nigger. A word, and that's all it is, a word that is used all the time. And you hear it on the radio, you hear it in movies, everywhere you hear these people saying it. But if a white person says it, they try to make like it's the worst thing in the world. He was repeating something he heard. This was so stupid. It was so stupid. But it wasn't even, it's not even that really grinds my gears. It's that these people like him, they are parasites. Mm-hmm. All they do is they want to use this type of this historical reference, this trauma, they're using it to gain some type of foothold, even if they have to belittle an elderly man. I mean, as he was walking away, she's calling him all kinds. What about the word bitch? What about that?
Yeah, he said he was going to kick his goddamn ass. I mean, and then one of my questions was the judge that fined him and gave him a contempt charge. Mm-hmm. Why didn't he do the same for the woman that was also saying the words? Why? I presume she was probably a Black woman, number one.
Yeah, she's Black.
And so, but if that's if it can't be said in court, then why not give her the same charge?
Well, he says, what he said was it wasn't him saying the word. It was the intent behind the word and the way he said it. Apparently, he was exasperated with her getting away with doing it over and over again. And he was voicing his concern. Again, remember, this is an evidentiary hearing.
There's no jury.
There's no jury there. There's no witnesses. It's just them. And he's saying, she's like, nigga. And of course he's angry. And of course he's feeling some kind of way. But he wrote the letter so he didn't have to go to jail and didn't have to pay the $500. I don't think $500 would have made or broke him. But I think he did feel genuinely bad that he was angry when he said it. The judge says, again, it wasn't about the word. It was about the delivery, him being exasperated with that. But she took full advantage. Now, say what you will.
Translation. Yep. Judges are not as impartial as you may think. Not all of them. They're not. They get caught up in the racial grift, if you will, and all this hullabaloo about nothing as well. That judge was probably afraid of that woman, and he didn't want her maybe to sue him and make some claims on him because she probably was an absolute nutcase in that evidentiary hearing. This is ridiculous. I feel sorry for that man. He looked like he was afraid as well. I mean, what is he going to do? You got these two big imbeciles, big Black imbeciles telling him, threatening to kick his ass and make him taste the ancestors. She called the man a bitch and had mocked his hearing aids and crippled and all. This is ridiculous.
And I want to go back to the part. Just when the thing he was, I dare you, daring him. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Dare you to do it, and I swear for God, I'll make you taste the ancestors.
Me too.
You a coward. Call that Black woman the N-word.
What's she gonna do? Eyelash from that?
Why would you do that? No, go ahead.
Go right ahead. I guarantee you wouldn't do it in front of me.
Come on.
Like they taunting him to say it. I dare you. I dare.
Yeah.
It's like you're on a kindergarten or an lower school
No,
playground.
I know you won't.
It's
Say the N-word
bullying.
in front of me.
Come on, go on in there.
And I
It's
guess
more than
you'll taste
bullying. It's a
everything from
crime.
ancestors.
Go on in
Say
there.
It's a crime.
Say it in front of me. I dare you to say it.
What is your name?
It's Quanell X, but you'll learn it real well today.
Yeah.
Say it. I bet you won't say N-word in my face. See, you talk to black women like that by themselves. You intimidate black women by themselves. But a black man, you won't open your goddamn mouth. I dare you to say it.
They're hearing.
Oh, the sausages on the back of his neck. He need to sit his ass down somewhere. It's so
Release the transcripts. Release the transcripts. That's what we need.
Oh, this is terrible. I don't. Who would take up for these people? If I'm curious, who would take up for these people bullying an old elderly man like that? Of course you can beat up that man. He looked like he could barely stand. Oh my God.
I don't know. I think he could have took her. I'm gonna say that. I think he could have whacked her with that cane.
This was all for show. Quinell X and whatever her ad lib and said, yeah, you know, this is ridiculous. Again, where were the court officers? Because they basically accosted. Where was the court officers to maintain the order, if you will, in that courthouse? Where were they? This is when you're definitely needed.
They should be shamed.
They
Folks,
should be.
Please share this video. These people, like he said, his name needs to go up in lights and he should be shamed. This man should not be around, in professional company. He should be ashamed of what he did there. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. That was just terrible. All right, folks, we got some super chatters here. Sound off. Let us know what you all think. Are we taking this the wrong way? And this is 3 black women right here saying this stuff. 3 foundational black women. For those who somebody in the chat saying that y'all not foundational. We're all foundational. Thank you.
We were born here. Foundational as you get. Democracy dudes, thank you for your $5. We must not give up and stand together. Thank you so much for that. We also have Kung Fu CJ's back again. Thank you for your $2. I wish he did so they both go to jail.
Yeah, I know. Oh, if I was that white man, this is where he messed up. If I was that white man, I would have said nigga, 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 nigga. I would have said nigger. I would have said, well, nigger, 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 nigger. What are you gonna do?
That's right.
That's what I would have said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They saying it right there to him. Hey, why not? Kung Fu CJ, thank you for your $5. These people need to sit their butts down. Absolutely. They need to be knocked down. Quinell X.
Yeah, Quinell X. What kind of name is that?
You know his name is Charles Jenkins. Look.
Yeah. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you for your $5. That man and woman go around confronting people that are accused of saying that word, and they say it themselves.
Right. They say far worse.
Yes.
They say far worse. Ridiculous.
Nigga culture.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. And he showed his, and I hate to say it, folks, he showed his nigga ass. That's what he did. All right. Folks, we are, I think this is everything for tonight. We are going to be back. We'll be back on Friday night at 9 p.m. You don't want to miss it. But before you go, please make sure you hit that like button. Hit the like button. Share this video. Share it in a DM. Share it in a text message and a broadcast. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. What are you waiting for? Subscribe. You can catch me, though, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, me and Michelle are on Christian Conservative, and we got a lot to talk about. We're talking about a story of a young girl who I think she was suspended, or at least she was reprimanded for reading a poem about pro-life. We're going to talk about that. We're going to break it down and much, much more. We're going to provide you the biblical perspective on this news and pop culture. So you don't want to miss it. That's tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Me and Michelle on at KJ Christian Conservative. All right. And again, we'll be back on Friday, Poppin' Politics on Friday at 9 p.m. right here. You don't want to miss it. All right. Final thoughts, ladies. Nicole, final thoughts before we shut off tonight.
I got a secret. It's a big secret.
You pregnant?
It's pregnant.
It's a girl. You know what? Don't you be putting that in the universe. I rebuke that in the name of God. But I have a huge secret, and I'll give you little hints to see if any of you guys can guess it. Not tonight, but I'll give you a hint tonight, maybe a hint on Friday, and see where you are with it maybe next Friday. So the big hint is court.
Oh, okay.
Court. That's a hint.
All right.
All right. That's it. That's your only hint for tonight.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, there it is. Ooh, and this court gonna be bad, good thing or bad thing. I don't know. Mostly bad. I don't know.
Sometimes courts are good.
Don't exasperate the niggas in court. I mean, nigga, come on. Don't.
We need a T-shirt to say nigga, 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 right?
We need to stop. We need a sticker that says nigga culture with a big X across it or something like that.
Yeah, and I say I dare you. Yeah, and my question is, our white friends on here, our white conservative friends, would you wear it? You dare me to say nigga, and then we get to have the bottom nigger,
and put our faces on the back of the T-shirt.
Terrible. That's terrible. Oh my god, that's terrible. I said after I said that, I realized what I said.
But my final thoughts are: look, everybody, it was hot today. It was hot this week, but it was nice. It wasn't as humid, so I want you to enjoy the weather. And we want to get rid of the fake salt and peppers, Cornell X, and that woman. We want to get rid of them. And look, cross out all niggas, all nigga culture. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of it. I'm sick of these people. You know what? I gotta say this. I know I've said this many times. That always happens to the wrong people with these nigga culture types.
Oh yeah,
it always happens to the wrong people. It never happens to the right kind of nigga culture that they need to be presented back with. It's just this gets on my nerves.
So let's say you were there and you were coming down the hall and you saw Cornell X and this woman saying, "I dare you to say nigga." They say it, I take it to the ancestors. What would you have stepped in, Shirley? I
probably would have said something. I probably would say, "Wait a minute, what the fuck is going?" Excuse me, I'm sorry. What the F is going on here? I mean, seriously, what is that? I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. This was just embarrassing. I mean, like at the very least, somebody should have called for one of the bailiffs or the court officers to come out, something like that. At the very least. Yeah. But I think this was all set up. I think it was planned. I do. I really did.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have definitely stepped in. I would have said, Mr. Phillips, I said, you better say it. And I dare you, Cornell, to hit him. You say it. Say it. Say it. And I dare you to hit him, Cornell. Yep, that's what I would have done. I would have told we nobody leaving until you say it.
Absolutely.
Because he's acting like a nigger.
And y'all know they what we call it, three the hard way right here. We would have been there to back him up.
It would have been that. There's no way I would have let that happen to that old man. There's no way. There's no way. Just, as an American person, that is just not how we stick up for the little people in this world as a nation. So I'm not going to stand there and watch this big corny mother scratcher call this guy all out of his name and this woman with the damn hat and wig on. No, ma'am, we're not doing that. We're not doing any of that.
All right, folks.
All right,
that does it for us tonight. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.